YouTube, what's going on? We're back at it with another knife video. Some weird going off my tripod here. Alright, sorry about that. Looking at a new Kizer model for this year, for 2017. This is the Kizer Envoy, or Envoy. EV Envoy. Little titanium frame lock flipper. Shocker! What's new? Well, let's go on the basic specs of this little guy. Overall length is 6.94 inches with a blade length of 3 inches. Blade thickness of 0.12. Pretty thin. S35, shocker there. Drop point, flat grind, shocker there. Stonewash. Finish on the blade. 3.875 inch handle. We'll get out my little measure all these too. Your thickness is 0.41, so it's very thin. Got a titanium backspacer and 2.88 ounces. Very lightweight, small EDC knife. Let's test those specs there. So I've got it just shy of 4 inches, so that's pretty close on the handle. And then your blade is I think they're being generous at 3 inches. That's not even 3 inches. If we go from, I guess if we're going from the sharpened point, your cutting edge is not 3 inches, but I guess your blade length, yeah, your blade length is total is 3 inches, but your cutting edge is a little short of 3. So this would actually be legal in, well, I guess you have to have a blade length under 3 inches in a lot of places. So yeah, pretty cool little guy. I saw that one and I thought, the price is right, 137 bucks. I think it's one of Kizer's cheapest knives, and it's made of titanium. It's got a nice deep carry pocket clip, which I liked as well. You got some crater-like machining done on the top here with like, I know it gives it a faux bolster look, bolster. Wow, look. I like that as well. So it's kind of a cool, just little guy, different. Reminds me of the Kizer Gemini, but slimmer. Right on the same size, but a little bit slimmer in the handle and slimmer in the blade. So let's go with the. So we got a flat ground blade, which should be a very nice little slicer and cutter there. Your S35 is good. Again, Kizer does a good heat treat on their S35. The action on this guy is solid. It's on bearings. It's got a good detent, good centering. Just a fun little flipper. Nothing crazy, not like super smooth or anything, but nice. The pocket clip, which I did like, I mentioned earlier, is a deep carry. I've never seen Kizer do a deep carry, and I like it actually quite a bit. Looks to be titanium with the same finish that kind of their renowned Kizer finish. Here's the Wanderer. I mean, that's that same kind of satin gray finish they do on their titanium. So it's going to carry real deep in the pocket. It's so small and light, it does carry really nicely in the pocket. You barely know it's there. I mean, it's a good little EDC knife there. Ergonomics are solid. Very simple handle design. It's very comfortable in the hand though. This gives you a good idea of the size. My medium-sized glove, I barely have all 4 fingers on there, but I do. I've got all 4. So there's no ergonomic issues. There's no hot spots. The clip does not create a hot spot. It's well done. Yeah, I can't find any hot spots with this knife. Just holding it this way. The design is pretty basic. I think this is an in-house design. It says AZO on it. I think that's one of the in-house Kizer designers. I think it may be the same one that did the Rattler, and that may be why you see this like crater kind of style machining there on the bolster, or not even a bolster, but the top part of the frame to give that bolster look. I think it looks good and it flows well. It would be cool to anodize it and do some different things with that instead of just leaving it this plain gray. So nice visual appeal to it. Very kind of simple but elegant knife. Would make a good EDC knife, good gentleman's folder, good office knife. Lots of different options there for you. Fit and finish is your typical Kizer. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to have any fit and finish issues. The only issue I've ever had with Kizer is these pivots having coming loose easily and then spinning when you're trying to adjust them. That is an issue that I don't know that they've addressed that issue yet. It does have a stop pin right there. I'm like, where is the blade stop? Right there. So nice little snappy action. Like I said, it reminds me of just a slightly different version of the Gemini. I do like the pocket clip better on this, and I like that it's a little slimmer. It's actually really slim. Your width was under 5 inches wide, but let's see what it measures across here. So just about 1 inch. From the widest point of the blade to the edge of the handle is 1 inch. That is really slim. So it's got really good dimensions. Like I said, pretty nice little design. Let's compare it here to the knife that I thought made the most sense here, and that would be the small Sebenza, because I think it's literally exactly the same size. Let's find out. Yeah, that's not a good way to do it. Let's do it this way. So that's the small carbon fiber in single inlay, and that is like literally, look at that. I think the Seb might be a little bit longer in the handle actually, just barely though. Probably like if I had my small Nkosi, which is coming tomorrow, I would show you the difference there, because I think that's a little smaller. But they're almost identical in size, so it's a very small. If you like the small Sebenza size, you're gonna like this little guy. Just makes it a flipper instead. There's the Shirogorov Neon Ultralight. The Shirogorov's a little bit, well, let's do pivot. A little bit longer in the handle on the Shirogorov. So small Sebenza, basically exactly the same size. So think of it as a small Sebenza flipper, kind of, because you got S35 and you got the same size handle, and it's slim like the Sebenza. One thing I've always loved about the Sebenzas is they're not wide. And what are we there? Yeah, we're almost identical, about 1 inch from the blade to the. So this knife is a kind of a spitting image of the Sebenza in a lot of ways. So obviously a lot less expensive. You can buy 3 of these with the one Sebenza. So your cutting ability with this is going to be good. I mean, you got a full flat ground blade, or a flat ground blade. You've got a looks to be a full flat. You've got pretty classic draw point blade style. Like I said, should be good at all an EDC knife. Good for food prep. Good for every typical everyday EDC task. And you know, your use of this is going to be EDC, gentleman's office. I mean, it's under 3 ounces. It's got a shorter blade. It's a cool little knife. I like it. The more I just got it in the mail today, so this is the first impressions, but the more that I sit and flip it and play with it, it's simple, but I like simple, and it's a good size. I tend to carry this size knife now more than I do like this Boker Lateralis. I've been carrying this the last couple days, and look at the size difference. It's pretty massive, and not just in length, but just overall size and weight. And I usually carry knives, like I said, more like this than anything, because I feel like they're just enough for what you need to do. I have light EDC tasks. I work in an office setting. You know, I'm not out. I'm not cutting up tons of cardboard every day. I'm not, doing a real manual labor job. I'm in an office setting, and so something like this is just perfect because it's not big and threatening, and it's still going to do everything I need it to do in this size. That's why I like this size of knife. So overall, my first impressions of the Kizer Envoy are pretty good. I have no complaints really. It's a pretty basic knife. I do like the clip a lot. If you're not a deep carry clip fan, then you're kind of sorry out of luck on this one. I don't know if that's taken your typical Kizer clips, because lately they've been a lot different. Like this one on the Wanderer is machined, so the screw hole pattern is going to be different. I think it's different. In fact, I know it's different than the Gemini and those kind of knives. So I think this is only going to fit on this knife. But I really like this slender, slim handle on this quite a bit, and it would be cool to, like I said, to anno this a certain way, and do some different anno color here maybe than this, or I don't know. I'll have to mess around with it. Looks to be a keeper though. I like it. It's got that same basic titanium backspacer that the Gemini has, but the Gemini's is anodized blue, and that's just, they've left this the gray color, so I would probably do something with that as well. This might be a little fun in life to customize, inexpensive, but you're still getting good materials, good fit and finish, and yeah, I think Kizer's got a good one on this one. I I know it won't be as popular as some of their other models. They have a lot coming out of, you know, the Bladesmith series, and you know, a lot of that Matthew Christensen knife looks pretty slick, but it's big, and you know, this is more my type of knife these days. And you know, I can buy those other knives, but I don't typically carry them much. So I tend to buy these style and review them because this is what I use and carry. And I don't really have too many knives, very few, that don't get carried on a regular basis. I don't really collect anymore. I do have a collection of knives, but I'm not a collector, if that makes sense. All my knives get rotated and used in my collection, so I'm not just gonna sit them in a box or, you know, look at them or whatever. So, all right, guys, it's a pretty informal review today, but just got this one in. Want to do first impressions. I think it's a cool little guy. 137 bucks is really cheap for a knife of this materials. I think it's a great value, and that is one of the things I forgot to cover is the value. It's super high, 137 bucks. Now the Gemini I think is like 180, 190, 170 at least. The reason why you're lower on this one is the royalties for the designer. That is the one difference, because you're talking exact materials and even the same company, and you're talking well, look at the Wanderer. The Wanderer's, I mean, it's a larger knife. It's kind of not a good comparison, but you have more royalties going to the designer than you would here when it's an in-house design. At least I believe that Azo is an in-house designer. I know that Kizer's used that name before on their knives, so I know that they're not, you know, it's not an American designer that may, you know, require more royalty fees, so they can keep the price down on this. So 137 bucks, guys. If you like small little EDC flippers around the 3-inch range, this is a perfect one. I could see this being a really popular model for Kizer, even though it's kind of flown under the radar. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.